So, Eduardo, everyone's talking about the Houston Astros scandal, of course, and deservedly so. But today's game, the Mets and the Cardinals, every year, not a lot of buzz about the Cardinals. They just seem to wind up in the playoffs. And when I look at sleeper teams around Major League Baseball, everyone's talking about the Yankees and the Dodgers for good reason. But I look at the Mets, I look at the Rangers. I think those teams could surprise people. Who do you see, and what do you think about the Mets, and who else is out there like that, do you think?
I like the Mets. It's going to depend a lot on Noah Syndergaard. I mean, it's no secret. I did a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for the Mets when I was interviewing for the managerial position, so I know the team really well. They just need everybody to be healthy and everybody to believe in themselves and find out how many games can Robinson Cano play at second base healthy. That's going to be a big key. Now, the team that you have to look out for, the Philadelphia Phillies. The reason I say this, the Joe Girardi factor, the Brian Price factor also as the pitching coach this year. I think Aaron Nola is going to excel. I saw Jake Arrieta the other day throw a simulated game. He looks fantastic. You add Zach Wheeler to it. I think Vince Velasquez is going to be key in this whole thing. I mean, they have a team that can definitely surprise. And oh yes, by the way, Sir Didi Gregorius, a full healthy season of him at shortstop with Gene Segura at third base. Oof,
Got a squad.
I didn't even mention Harper. I didn't even mention Rhys Hoskin. This is a team that can surprise in the National League.
I want to transition and go away from the field for a second, Eduardo, because it's something I've been very interested in asking you. When I look at this Houston Astros situation, I think the thing that bothers me most is the players pretty much having the license to police themselves. I'm talking about Major League Baseball and their reaction to the Houston Astros and what they had done, what they did in 2017. The only reason I bring that up is because whether it's that particular incident or what Alex Rodriguez was talking about yesterday in terms of the game needing to be fun and players needing to take it upon themselves to help promote the game. Unlike any other sport we look at, it almost seems like when anything involves Major League Baseball, we want to look to the players and say, okay, you guys fix it, with them holding on to their tradition and the way of doing things in order to say to the rest of the world, listen, we know y'all are patrons, y'all patronize our brand, our product, et cetera, but we will handle everything, good, bad, or ugly. I just have a problem with that. In this day and age, do you still feel it should be that way with Major League Baseball, or do you feel they should adapt to everything the NBA, the NFL, and everybody else has to deal with in terms of catering to society itself to improve its brand?
Yeah, I would love for Major League Baseball and the Players Association to think together in all of this, because the Major League Baseball also has that responsibility of taking care of its brand, and its brand is the players. And we don't see as much as I sit on the couch and I watch all the commercials that the NBA puts out there. They show the personality, they show the humor. Same thing with NFL. I don't see this out of Major League Baseball. I would love to see the stars of the game get promoted. I'd love to see the up-and-coming players get promoted, not just only the All-Star game, not just during the World Series, but even in the offseason. I think there has to be more of an accessibility factor to all of this and welcoming and bringing in the young generation. And I think that's what we have to target, is the young kids, because there's a lot of distractions. They love their basketball, they love their football, but at the same time, I see a growing trend, especially under the minority aspect of this. I'm not only talking about the African-American side of this. I'm talking about the Latino factor. If we can get everyone together, because 31.5% of the players right now in the big leagues are Latino. Over 50% in the minor leagues are Latino. Minorities, as far as African-American, we need to bring the numbers up. And a way of doing it is by going after that target audience and using the Latino and African-American influence as best as possible.
Sports is better when baseball is a big deal nationally, no doubt. Real quick, since we're talking Astros, what A-Rod said about the Astros is they got to shut up and just move forward. Why do you think it's been so hard for them to do the right thing here? They got away with it. Why don't they just say, shouldn't they just be eating the criticism and saying, okay, we have to eat this. We can't undo it. We got to do better going forward. But they're coming off as supervillains because they won't even eat it. They got away with it. They still have a World Series. No one's suspended. They cheated the Yankees or the Dodgers out of it. And they still don't show contrition. What about what A-Rod said?
Yeah. Well, you have to be accountable. You have to be contrite with everything that you do say. I think what Marwin Gonzalez did with the Minnesota Twins, come out and say, listen, it's on us. We apologize. Let's move forward from this. And I think Major League Baseball players as a whole have to understand this. You mean to tell me that the worst 25 guys in all of baseball were wearing the same uniform? If this happened in another team, if it's stealing the signs before the game, during the game, or after the game, that's all wrong. We have to understand that if they would have probably done it with another organization or another team, and they would have been caught, then those would have been the worst 25. I think at the end of the day, the Astros should have just apologized, moved forward, and said, yes, we raised our hands, we were caught, we were wrong, and it was just handled incorrectly as far as I'm concerned in the eyes of all other major leaguers involved.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.